Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callie and it is fully fall season now. We are in the middle of October and spooky season. It's finally starting to get cold and feel like fall. So I figured I'd go through some of my lesser known favorite fall reads. It's a bit wordy, but I just kind of look at these books and think of fall. So the first one that I have a mix of romance and fantasy on here. First one's a romance, as A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St.Clair. This is a Hades and Persephone in modern day retelling. Not even a retelling, this is just, I guess technically a retelling. But they still have magic, they're still the gods, but we're in a modern world and you get to see all of the other gods. And I don't know what it is about fall, but I just always associate their love story with the fall. I know you have the spring and winter kind of thing going on that's very cyclical with Hades and Persephone. But I just really love this love story. It's super fun, super spicy, and just an overall one of my favorite Hades and Persephone retellings. Next for romance, I have Haunting Adeline. This gives big fall vibes, big haunted house vibes, especially book one. Now, as much as I love this series, please read the trigger warnings before taking it. This is a stalker romance, as well as we're following Adeline, who is an author, as she has just been gifted her grandmother's house and she finds her grandmother's journal and starts to realize while she's being stalked and low-key falling for her stalker, her grandmother had almost the exact same issue in like the 40s. It is a wild ride and it is just such a interesting story and I very much enjoyed it, but it's got those kind of spooky high tension scenes, and especially book two, which has even more trigger warnings, just very dark and scary on like a real life level. The last romance that I have is November 9 by Colleen Hoover. I really like this. I know this is a relatively controversial, I don't even want to say controversial, but people either love this book or they hate it. And I see both sides, but I really liked this. So this follows a couple over the span of several years. They always meet up on November 9th. And I really love watching them go through phases of life. You only ever see them on this one day. And it's so fascinating to see what changes happen over just the span of a year. They have zero contact. It is such an interesting romance and a way to build a romance. Very slow burn. I really like Colleen Hoover as a writer. I know she is not everyone's favorite, but this one hit hard. And I don't know, there's just something about this book. I just greatly enjoyed this story. I enjoyed what the story was trying to say and what it was trying to do. And it's just, I really liked it. Moving on to fantasy, one of my favorite fantasy series that helped me get back into reading is the Three Dark Crowns series by Kendare. This follows triplet sisters who have been trained their entire life that they're going to kill each other to see who's going to become queen. This whole island deals with these triplets every generation, and each triplet has a different magic, and it is so fascinating to see different politics. The magic system is very simple. We have elementals, poisoners, and then the anima. I think it's anima. So three very different magics and three very different girls who've never met each other. And they each kind of decide that they don't necessarily want the crown, they want a sister, but then extenuating circumstances happened. You have this like really cool island magic where they learn the history of the triplet magic. It's just so fascinating, and I enjoyed every single one of these books. I started reading this series right before book two dropped. And I followed it throughout the entire, I think there's 4 books. 4 books and a novella. It's dark, it's creepy, and there's just a lot of tension, a lot of spooks, like the island just feels haunted by these long dead queens, because every generation, 2 of these triplets die at the hands of their sisters. And it's just, Kendare was not afraid to go into that gruesome, dark, gritty fact. And what I love about the novella especially is we actually get some of the more famous queens who won their trials during their reign. And it's fascinating because their mother, the way that it works is once the winner, the queen, she serves as queen until she gives birth to the triplets. And then she gets to just stop being queen and go to the mainland and live her happy life. And it's weird that some of these reigns last really long. Some of them are really, really short. It's just so fascinating. And then whatever faction the queen prior was a part of, they get to rule until the new triplets are 16. Wildly fascinating. Fascinating world, fascinating concept. I reread this like every other year. I really love this series. I have another Kendare Blake book on this list, just because I feel like Kendare Blake is probably Kendare Blake is probably one of my favorite authors that is the most underrated. So this is Anna Dressed in Blood, which follows, this is very much supernatural-esque. So you're following a ghost and a ghost hunter who have to almost team up because of a haunted house. And it is very interesting. But this has a very weird romance between the ghost hunter and the ghost. The haunted house aspect, you have a lot of twists and turns within this book. And this is a perfect October Halloween read. Especially if you like YA. It's spooky, it's creepy, it's a little gory as well. And I greatly enjoy Kendare's writing. Up next, I have The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones. This one's really cool. This follows, this is a standalone where essentially the magic that we're following is this girl who can put the dead back, or essentially like a necromancer. And they call these skeletons or zombies, they call them bone houses. There's more and more popping up, and that's causing a lot of issues because you can only handle so many. She's like very protector of the realm kind of a deal, but more and more of these bone houses start showing up, and she has to team up with someone else. This like guy shows up, no memory, no nothing in his brain, tells her that he kind of knows what's going on with the bone houses, and then they also team up with an undead goat, which is probably one of the favorite things that I have about this book. It's been a minute since I've read it, but I remember just every time I look at it, I'm just like, such a fun Halloween read. Because it was a great Halloween. You have spooky skeletons. I remember there was a lot of really cool twists and turns, and the undead goat jokes were just perfection. So many great puns. So that was actually originally all the books I was going to talk about, but I literally yesterday just finished another Halloween read, and I wanted to talk about it, and that is If I Have to Be Haunted by Miranda Sun. This was my Fairy Loot book for September, and I just finished it. This is so cool. This follows a young woman who can see ghosts, but her mother hates this ability about her and has constantly told her to shun it. And one day, she is walking home from her treehouse after being stood up for a project with the partner who is like the most popular boy in school or whatever. She finds his body and his ghost just sitting there, and he figures out that she can see him, and he essentially blackmails her, not quite blackmails, but convinces her to resurrect him. And he just kind of follows her around, and they have to go on this very cool magical quest to find an Ouroboros and get the antidote to bring him back to life. This was so much fun. I loved it. The banter was great. The ghost aspect was really fun. It was very lighthearted for a ghost story, but I still got all of those fall vibes. Like, you have the town is called Autumn Falls. Big fall vibes. Very much was giving me like Halloween Town kind of, Salem kind of vibes. And I just really love this ghost story. The only thing I will say is I thought this was a standalone. It is not. It ends on a weird cliffhanger. So I will give you that warning because nothing else online will tell you that. But I really liked it. If you like the lighthearted, spooky, weird ghost romances, this is YA, but I would highly recommend this one. It was a ton of fun. I have a ton of books that I would consider spooky or Halloween, but these are just some of my favorites that I wanted to talk about and get everyone ready for just that fun fall vibes. Right now, it is like prime fall reading weather. It is lightly raining. It's like perfect like weather outside, temperature wise. I can leave the door open, listen to the rain, and just read. So I'm gonna go make a cup of tea and I'm gonna read my book right after I finish filming this video. So with that said, if you like today's video, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We post every Wednesday, Friday, with the occasional Sunday, and I'll see you guys in our next video. Bye!